Broads Media.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into this episode of Schmoozed. Today, we are joined by Natalie. Why are you laughing? What's so funny? Not even going to let me get it out here.
Oh, look, I just like that it's called Schmoozed.
Well, it's funny because it works with certain people. Schmooze,
Right.
give me a little.
It's all about the je ne sais quoi, right? You gotta get in there. You gotta like vibe. It's schmoozing. We're just hanging out.
Yeah, it's exactly what we're doing. Yeah, we're joined by Natalie Egenolf, Parks Casino, the Lipstick League, all fantastic stuff. We'll get into it. But first, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. It's another gloomy day here in Philadelphia. I'm waiting for the beautiful fall temperatures to really, stick. And that's not happening. I was woken up last night by that. Did you hear the storm? I thought that, like a building collapsed.
Apparently not.
The thunder was so loud. Yeah, you must have slept right through it. So, I mean, I'm just waiting for the beautiful fall temps to hit here in Philadelphia because that's all that I have to look forward to here in Philadelphia since the sports teams are ass.
That's a good tie-in. No, I definitely want to dive into that. But I always start with a similar question because I'm a coffee addict. So I need to know how you – oh, hey, how are you? Now, what are you going with there? I like a pumpkin spice. What do we got?
So actually I've been into – this is going to sound really weird. I've been into mushroom teas lately. And it's not like it sounds. It's not like the fun mushroom teas. It's like this is like for your health and immunity and stuff.
The non-fun stuff.
The non-fun stuff. So no, I drink these mushroom teas that I got at Reading Terminal Market, and this is like my PSA for everybody as of late. Do you see it?
I do. Yes.
Yeah. So that's why it's not intentional for you. This just is my favorite mug as of late.
So I'm not anti-tea. I think tea is relaxing at night, but I'm also a 10 p.m. coffee drinker. So I actually have a problem, and I'm okay with it.
I had a problem for years. I drank a ton of coffee. I was probably up to 2 or 3 Americanos a day. Like insane. And anytime I could get my hands on coffee, I would be drinking coffee. But over the actually, it was kind of my New Year's resolution this year to cut back on the coffee because it would be 2 p.m. and I'd just be laying in bed, like thinking about like how to solve the world's problems and also like how I'm going to like write this manifesto on, my life and make it into a movie and stuff like that. So I had to cut back. So that's why I do the tea now. And I've been getting so into the tea world that like, that's why I'm experimenting with like all these different teas. So it's like a new hobby. Like I know people go on Reddit and they go on the Sixers Reddit, Eagles Reddit, all these other different Reddits. I'm on tea Reddit, which surprisingly is a really popular community. So I'm reading all these tea recommendations. See, this is life. Like, I just turned 33 and like, I'm getting wild, right? Yeah. I mean, I used to go out until 4 a.m. and now here I am. I'm like, I'm on tea Reddit.
No, you have no idea. See, I'm 26, right? But I have a lot of my buddies, 29, 30. They're out till 2 a.m. in Atlantic City. I'm home at 9 p.m. watching the Phillies lose their 90th game already. It's a disaster. I can't hang anymore.
You gotta get on tea Reddit.
That's exactly what it is. I've recently joined, we'll stop the coffee talk after this. Okay. I've recently joined the Starbucks cult, though, where I'm venti, iced coffee, black. I'm going every day. I got my app. I'm ordering. I'm picking it up. Yeah. I can't stop.
How do you feel? So I get nervous at Starbucks. See, I'm a La Colombe devotee. Have you ever had La Colombe?
No.
Coffee? Oh, my God. It's going to change your life. There's a flagship in Fishtown. I don't know where you live. Couple
South
locations.
Jersey native.
Okay. Well, we'll find you one. I'll get Josh to send you some, or I'll just send you some. And that's where I would go and get all of when I was a coffee addict, get my coffee. But since Starbucks, they put one in Port Richmond, I go now for the drive-through, but I was never really a Starbucks person. And I get really overwhelmed and anxious when I have to order something that's like 7 items long because I'm just like, okay, coffee, a little bit of cream, 1 sugar, and then my girlfriend sent me this list of how to make a low calorie pumpkin spice latte that's only 85 calories. And it's like 1 splash of cream, 2 light splashes of vanilla sugar-free cream, 1 splash of pumpkin spice. And I'm like sitting there and I'm reading this list and I just feel like an asshole sometimes. I'm like, why? I was like, I don't know if I need to be doing this. Like, just get the coffee and keep it moving, So is that what you do? Venti black?
Yeah, I drink everything black for the most part. Yeah, just black, pour it in the cup. And see, here's the thing. Like, I'm not a coffee connoisseur. I'm a coffee addict. So there's difference.
Right. Oh,
Dunkin',
so you don't
wow,
care.
wow. I don't care.
Right.
Just give me anything that's coffee and let it flow through my veins is basically where I'm at.
I have a dream in life where I want to kind of just go through random Starbucks drive-throughs and start off with a normal coffee list, like beverage list, and then start adding random things and then see what they end up saying. Like at the end, I'll be like, yeah, and then can I just have like 1 pump of oregano and 2 splashes of vanilla extract? But at the end, right? So the beginning of the order will be me saying a regular order, and then the end I'll be like, yeah, and if you could just throw some crushed red pepper in there too, that would be awesome.
Yeah, maybe we can work on some Broads Media content. You know what I'm saying?
Nat goes to Starbucks.
Hey, we do a lot of things around here. All right, let's dive into some sports. That was a 6-minute opening monologue. That was fantastic. I wouldn't want it any other way. All right, Eagles. 1-3 start. Not ideal.
No.
I want your overall. We'll start peeling back the layers, but we'll start broad. What are your thoughts so far?
So I'd like to say first and foremost that I was going into the seasons with very low expectations. So there's a lot of people who I think are really upset. I'm not one of them. I'm frustrated because I watched the games. I've been a fan my entire life. But I had low expectations for them this season. I was being optimistic when I said 7 wins, and I feel like that's kind of playing out in front of us right now. And the reason was because it's a brand new team, brand new head coach, essentially a brand new quarterback, brand new coaching staff. There's not a single person on this planet who I think could have definitively said, this is what to expect from this team this year, because every single, except for the defense, which I mean, we'll get there, but every single facet of the team is basically an unknown. So I'm not surprised at what we're witnessing because, again, rookies all around. However, I am surprised at the defense and the penalties and a lot of the stupid mistakes. But again, it's such a new team. This team has never been together in any sort of way that while I know people are like the world's burning, and I'm like, look, I've been through this for, again, 33 years. So my world is not burning yet. And I just figured that we're going to get there. And I knew the Dallas game was going to be the tell-all. I knew depending on how he came out in Dallas, I said, this is going to really be the determining factor on if this team has it together at all. And we learned that game that they do not. So that's where I stand with them right now. And since the Super Bowl, I've been able to mentally talk myself into a place of, look, you had it. And they squandered it the last 3 years. They could have kept up with that momentum, but instead Howie Roseman decided to be, I have so many words, and I don't know.
I knew you were going to touch on Howie, so I'm glad that this happened. Well, I just want to say real quick. So I'm not a Howie lover by any means. I'm just not a hater. All I say is, look, I'm 26, right? And basically my whole life, I knew Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie. But I will say, like, all my life, I am accustomed to a winning culture. So, like, it's been a mess as of late, and I'm not denying that. I think that, I think the way I'll put it here is I'm not a Howie Roseman, he needs to be here guy. But with the cap space that's about to open and with the assets they have, this is my last opportunity I'm giving him. And if you compare him to the Saints, the Ravens, the way that all these top tier teams are ran, are in that category. So I don't know what to do with that information other than I know success with him here, but that doesn't mean it'll last forever either. But that's where I'm at.
And so what I get frustrated with is the fact that I felt like in 2018, the organization as a whole felt like they could rest on their laurels. They won one. And I know that they say it's hard to win 2 in a row. It's almost impossible. But, I'm a competitor and I want to win all the time at everything, every single year, every minute of every day. So when I felt like they were putting, letting their foot off the gas and kind of making some questionable decisions, were you a Carson guy?
Yeah, I was a diehard Carson supporter.
Okay. Yeah. So I know now what we're witnessing, but you can't predict the future unless they could. But I never really liked what happened, how that played out. I mean, Hurts is our guy now, but the way that they brought Hurts in when Carson could have used more weapons back then. I just, it felt like mismanagement after the fact. And I still think that they could have been better. I'm also somebody who needs to let things go. So I'm trying not to
you got the grudge going.
Well, yeah. And I held on to my resentment of Tom Brady for 16 years. I just let that go. It took me 3 years.
I sit in the category of when you watch that, how do you not love it? I just love dominance.
Well, because he broke my heart when I was 15. Okay.
When you were 15, you didn't think that maybe, I don't know, you
teenage heartbreak for a girl lasts forever. And you know who did that? Tom Brady. He broke my heart.
Well, I guess it could have been a lot worse. If that's the worst thing that happened to you at 15 heartbreak wise, you're doing all right.
No, so I mean, I've just been, it's a roller coaster with this team, and I wasn't expecting much this year, so I'm okay. I feel like I'm in a good headspace with them.
I'm not in a bad headspace. I guess the little things that I was promised. See, I knew it was going to be a 6-win season or so. Right. So the win-loss, it's not what it's about. But, the way that it was detailed by Nick Sirianni was basically we're going to control the controllables. And this penalty thing is the complete opposite. And then with Jonathan Gannon, we were informed that it would be a little bit better than this. And everyone hated Jim Schwartz. I like Jim Schwartz. He took away the run. Yeah, he took away the run. Like, Jim Schwartz did more with less, I'd say.
Yes.
Like, Jim Schwartz.
No, he did.
Me and you would be able to stop the run under Jim Schwartz's scheme. And Gannon right now can't even do that. They're bleeding in the run game. They're bleeding in the passing game too.
I don't understand why. And I know that because he's so green, right? Your thought is that you want to keep it simple, but the simplified, the lack of creativity, the lack of adjustments, it's like you got to do something here when you can't stop anybody. It's getting embarrassing at this point. And then we're going to go on to Carolina, and then we're going to go on to the Buccaneers, and it's just going to keep bleeding out. Like you're saying, it's just going to keep making itself evident that this is a rookie team. And it is what it is for me. Honestly.
Yeah, see, you seem too mellow for me right now because there's a way for it to be both. I was listening to the Cuz the other day, right? And he comes in every day with, all right, I got no expectations. Let's objectively look at this. And the only thing I can understand they won't win a lot, but then also I won't even use the word nitpick, but we can peel back what's happening at the same time with the broad approach of they're not going to win a lot. So you can do both. And I feel you're in this Cuz territory where I need more. Maybe it's the caffeine. Get off the tea. Let's pound you with some black coffee. Maybe that's what you need.
It's my mushroom tea. That's what it is.
No, too mellow for me. Like, okay, let me ask you this. How do you feel on Jalen Hurts? Are you comfortable on him right now?
I'm fine with Hurts right now. I'm optimistic that he's going to develop a chemistry with his receivers. But again, those things take time. So I didn't have a high expectation for him. And this is what I've learned throughout my life is if you set your expectations low, it's hard for people to disappoint them. No. So it's not that I feel like I just really mentally prepared myself for Hurts this year. And I'm not disappointed with his performance because again, I think he's so new and, yardage wise, he's doing fine. Passing yards, he's doing fine. It's not anything that's making or breaking the games. He's not able to win the games with those, but that's something that I think will improve over time. And as the chemistry develops with the team.
Yeah, I agree with that. I guess with the whole yardage thing, because that's a hot topic. Look at his numbers. Yeah. His numbers are good. I wonder, can you consistently win in this league with let's just dump it off and allow your receivers to go right? Like there's clearly a correlation between week 1 and week 4 where the offense looked good, but the idea was let's get it out of his hands and let the playmakers do work, which is fine. Look, Kyle Shanahan's creative and gets guys open in space and whatnot. I'm not saying it won't work, but there's clearly a disconnect with what they feel comfortable with him doing, throwing the football downfield, and would that limitation be the difference in franchise guy or not?
It's going to make the difference in franchise guy. And I think that's been the whole question the whole time is whether or not he's going to be able to go vertical. That's why Carson, you thought was going to be the vertical threat. And then, they never rolled him outside the pocket. So, I mean, I digress, but they had that expectation of Hurts, I think, knowing that was his limitation. And I don't believe that they are invested as him in the franchise guy.
Oh.
So, So
Continue. You can't just stop right there.
No, I mean, I had it on good authority that the Deshaun Watson thing was very real. That was a very real thing. Just because based on what they saw from Hurts in practice, they didn't love him. Now, the team loves him and the team wants to work for him, and they've come out and they've said that publicly. But I don't know if the front office is bought in on him, and if he,
I don't know if that's wrong though. Like I like Jalen Hurts and I root for his character because it's awesome.
But no, I always want every Eagles quarterback to succeed. I don't care who you are. It could be me. I want to get in there, and I hope people would want to see me win, even though I could probably not throw the ball 10 yards.
I saw that basketball clip you put up with D-Line.
I'm working on it. Look, I don't just talk about sports. I'm going to learn how to play them too. I did not make my 13-year-old travel softball team. So
you're hitting me with all this sad, like 15
I know,
you're sad, 13 you're sad.
Yeah, this is what the mushroom tea does to you. It kind of sends you, it's like it brings out all your emotions. So with Jalen, I kind of had it on good authority that they were not invested in him in the first place. And I think what we're seeing right now is them trying to figure out how to put him in the best position to execute, but they don't know what that position is. And they're not even invested in trying to make it one consistent thing. You know what I mean? And he can't be the leading rusher in any game. Right. And he has been. So it's what's that called? Like a trickle down effect, right? Where you're a cornucopia, if you will, of issues where if you can't trust your quarterback to get the ball down the field, and you can't trust your running back to get the ball from the quarterback to run it down the field, and you can't trust anything past, those short yardage passes to the receivers, it's a cornucopia of conundrum.
You are just on a roll right now with this. I won't say the Miles Sanders thing. I saw you. Like, what am I even saying right now? I'm with you. I'm nodding the head.
I love analogies. I'm a big analogy gal.
Yeah, great job with that. The Miles Sanders thing, though, is very fascinating. There's a lot of clips surfacing now of him not hitting proper gaps. And I remember early in the season, there was a 3 and 6, 3rd and 6. And I'm like, why is Nick Sirianni running the ball? And then you see the replay. It was a huge gap that could have gotten the first down. He runs into his lineman. I mean, I don't know. Is it as simple as that? I don't have a read on it because it's clear that he has the ability to take it 25, 30, 35 yards and have an explosive play. But if he's going to mess up 6 times prior to that, where do you draw the line on how many opportunities he gets? It's clear they need to run the ball more, though, as a whole.
That's been the issue forever. But the thing is, I don't know why the running back, like you're saying, he's running into the lineman. What is happening in practice that they're not executing that, or where's his focus and on the field awareness? That's what concerns me because, and again, I'm not on the football field, so I can imagine that when you're in that, you're trying to make second by second decisions on where you're going to take this ball, where you're going to, where to run your route, making sure that you get to the correct point. But sometimes I think, and I've thought this about Nick Sirianni and the Eagles as a whole, sometimes I think that they try and, except for the defense, overcomplicate things. When I feel like with such a new team offensively, you have to basically kind of stick to the basics. So that's what I'm not sure. It's tough to kind of pinpoint exactly how it's going to be correctable if it seems like a simplistic thing such as route running is complicated at this time.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe the analytical department has a huge say in that, of course. And even what you mentioned the
the analytical department?
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly what I mean.
Yes.
I'm just like all the detailed stuff though, like wide receivers, let's get them learning. And Nick Sirianni can do that with his hands. He can put his fingerprints on them, right? And then we see Jalen Reagor run out of bounds, Devontae Smith get run out of bounds. I guess that's where my frustration is what we were told, which was detailed, structured team, all that. And then the little things. The little things aren't adding up right now. By the way, if you see smoke blowing through, it's not pot or anything ripping. I got this air wick. All right.
Ooh.
I just got this thing. It just gives you that scent of lavender.
Is it effervescent? Is it effervescent?
Look at this. Hold on. So I saw that blowing through my street. I don't want you thinking over. I
thought maybe it was incense.
Okay. Well, yeah, this thing is just amazing. Look at this thing. It's right up my nostrils here. Full
Are
time.
you more relaxed now since it's lavender?
No.
Gotta
I should be, though. I got the plugins in the wall, too. I mean,
Yeah.
you walk in this office, you're like, am I in lavender? No, just my office.
You need to find an equal ratio of lavender and caffeine and kind of see how that works out for you.
Yeah, maybe that is what I need to do. All right, we'll switch gears. We'll go into Sixers. First, though, I do want to get some knowledge of what you're doing over at
Okay.
Parks and the Lipstick League. I need to
Yes.
know what Natalie Egenolf is doing these days.
Yeah, so as most of Philadelphia knows, I left the Mike Missinelli show in May of this year to help Parks Sportsbook kind of launch their new digital network. Really getting some grassroots, boots on the ground experience and building a digital network and, facilitating with the Park Sportsbook team. And I work with these two guys, Matt Cullen and Gil Bushkin. Brilliant guys, came here from San Francisco, kind of just trying to get on the same page in the sports betting content world as the DraftKings and the FanDuels and the Barstools, which everybody knows are the juggernauts, right? They're supreme and they have years on Park Sportsbook. We literally just launched a month ago. Well, not the sportsbook, but the digital network. So essentially our approach right now is we are trying to get the best people, since Parks, it's the Philly casino, essentially. It's been in Philly forever. It's the #1 casino in Pennsylvania. We're trying to get the most Philadelphia people to kind of come on board with us, shoot the shit, talk about the teams, really just, and do good content that people are going to find interesting while also encouraging them to download the Park Sportsbook app. So, and we have a lot of surprises coming in the near future that we're really, really excited about. I wish, what is today? Today is October 6th. October, November, probably 2 months down the line, but something big's happening and it's gonna be really cool. And I think once the big thing happens, it's gonna make a lot of sense as to us launching this and getting started and trying to build the follower base and all that other good stuff. So it's gonna be neat. It's definitely different for me, but I still get to do my thing. I still get to do cool stuff like play basketball with D Lineham and make a fool out of myself and talk about teams. And what's been fun is I've been my entire career has been Philadelphia sports talk radio, essentially. And I was born a Philadelphia sports fan, so spent my entire life basically ingesting everything. But it's been cool. So I've been getting to learn like a little bit more about tennis and golf, and not learn about them, but really focus in on them. Right. So the US Open, I was like, yeah, what's his face? Djokovic.
Oh, yeah. The Joker.
And then I'm like invested, like watching tennis, and I'm like, let's turn tennis on. And the Phillies were on, but I was like, let's turn tennis on.
So I like that though, because for tennis, for me, I'm not going to act as if I watch all these tournaments or whatnot, but once the majors hit about the quarterfinals, I get it. Like that 18-year-old Canadian woman, she was unbelievable. It was 18 versus 19 years old. Yeah. Here I am. I'm sitting here. I'm like, got my coffee in my hand. Here we go. I'm fist pumping. I'm doing one of these.
Yeah. I know.
I love it.
Tennis is great. It's been fun to kind of sink my teeth into, and other aspects too. So I've been doing some lifestyle for them as well. So I don't know if you watch Chopped.
Do I watch Chopped? I'm forced to because my fiance has it on, but yes.
Okay.
I'll be honest. My TV, not to get too sidetracked here, but I'm sports or I'm Kardashians, Jersey Shore. I love horrendous, and I know it's horrendous reality television. I love it. I eat it up. I just watched, and it was sad, the last episode of the Kardashian season 20. But Hulu, thank you very much. We're going to get it back.
I didn't. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I stopped watching. I think I forget what happened. They got into a fight about Kendall and Kylie
they got into a they got into a fight.
Yeah, I think.
Well, that must have been episode
75,000. No, I stopped
a
couple of years ago. I stopped keeping up, if you will, a couple of years ago. I know. And then you just get so far behind. And I'm like, who are all these new people? Where did these people go? I'm like, what happened to Brody Jenner and his?
Well, I mean, you're going back to season 2 at this point.
I know, but then I try and catch up. And I'm completely lost. So I actually watch a lot of the Food Network.
Chopped's good stuff.
So Chopped, I watch a lot of Chopped. So I actually just got to do like a sit down interview with Chef Mark Murphy. who,
Wow.
yeah,
How
yeah,
about
who
that?
is a judge on Chopped, and I was fangirling over him, and I'm like, "What's your favorite basket ingredient?"
See, I always get yelled at because I complain to my fiance while watching the show that because I don't. Who are you to tell me if that tastes good or not? What if I liked it? You know what I mean? Like but then she hits me with they're professionals. They
I was
have
gonna
the
say
taste
they
buds.
are the
No,
experts.
no, I don't care. If I like the zucchini a little bit crisper, you can't tell me that I can't have the zucchini crisper. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I guess that's fair. That is fair because food, I guess, is subjective, but when you're a chef, shouldn't it be palatable for all?
No. Here's my counter. All right, sports talk radio, right? Maybe there's not one way to do this. Everyone's got their own personality to it. That zucchini being crisper, that's a bro zucchini. Maybe I want a bro zucchini compared to
Right.
maybe a Natalie zucchini that's a little bit less crisp.
You should ask for it crisper. That's what you'd have to do if you go out. May I have
Ah,
my zucchini extra
I don't
crisp?
even know why that was my choice here, but anyway, we're all over the map. I
I
need
like
to.
zucchini
No,
though. Ever
I
had
love so.
zucchini fries?
I eat anything.
You should get them well done.
You have no idea. I
Zucchini well
eat
done.
anything. There's
Put them in
times where
marinara.
that sounds amazing right now. Although it's breakfast time and I'm thinking of like pancakes. But anyway, I once ate like I'm thinking, wow, this chicken's amazing. It's tofu. I don't even know what I'm eating. If it's sitting in front of me, it's getting demolished. It's just as
Tofu's
simple as
good.
that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
Well,
so that's what else I was doing for parks. I get to do some
nice.
lifestyle stuff. And then the Lipstick League, yeah, I launched with Nicole Mahalik. Around this time last year, we started recording. We launched it in December of 2020. So it's our little project of love that we've been working on. And it's been really cool just because, I was in sports talk radio forever. And I think the way I talk about sports isn't particularly the same way that men are used to ingesting sports. No offense, when I say that, but
None taken.
it's possible to really like sports and also like makeup and hair and clothes and kind of be a girly girl. And I feel like for whatever reason, sports talk radio has failed to understand that sports isn't just men anymore. And they don't want to cast that wider net to kind of captivate everyone. So my space is more like with the Lipstick League. We want to feel like if you like sports, you can come and listen to us. No judgment zone, we're not going to make it feel exclusive to anybody. And actually our demographics are amazing. It's 45% men, 55% women.
Wow.
And the men who do listen have been so supportive. And this one guy sent me this message and he said, listening to this, he came for the sports content, but now I'm leaving because I feel like, and I feel like I understand my daughter better. So, we're just, a podcast of love. And we had on Joy Taylor, Chris Long, Rhea Hughes is our guest this week, which is really cool. I worked with her years ago. So it was good to catch up with her. So yeah, we're rocking and rolling on the Lipstick League. Like us and follow us and subscribe.
Yeah, for sure. I'll put all the information down below in the
There's another
description.
one.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, I mean it's funny you say that though, because it's like not just sports or whatever. I know I'm definitely sports heavy, but outside of sports, like I said, like I'm addicted to the amount of clothes that get sent to my house because I just online shop is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm addicted to shopping. I love Starbucks, reality TV, the Kardashians. I mean, like that's right in my territory. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's,
Unless that's not. I'm not trying to put that on him. I'm saying you're talking about makeup, clothes. Like that's honestly, besides I don't do the makeup.
Yeah.
But you get my point.
Yeah, no, I mean, we just wanted it to feel a little bit more of a free space because I think women in particular don't really have they can't flip on their radio and hear themselves on the radio. It was me on the Mike Missinelli show, Rhea Hughes on Angelo Cataldi, Jen Scordo now, who took my spot on Mike Missinelli. But other than that, in Philadelphia, you can't turn on your radio and hear a woman talking about sports. It doesn't exist because the format's so ingrained that it has to be men 25 to 64. And it's like, well, are you on Broad Street? Were you on Broad Street when the Eagles won? Because I'm pretty sure it just wasn't men out there. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully the radio will catch up to speed one day. But
I think it's starting to, it's a journey. Unfortunately, it's not something you can just switch the flip. But it does seem to, we're taking strides.
Yeah, making strides. But in the interim, listen to the Lipstick League because that's what we're here for.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Now, with that said, we'll transition to, well, a bad topic. Benjamin Simmons.
Ugh.
This is brutal.
So,
now, I'll say this real quick. I was on the airwaves after game 1 against the Wizards. All right. I was taking the calls and I said, Ben Simmons, he had 6 points. I'm okay with that. 15, fine. What I'm not okay with were those 3 possessions at the end of the game where he just ran away because he was afraid. And I was told, you're overreacting. This guy's a clown. I ain't overreacting. This guy's a bum who's afraid of the basket. All right. And then now, months later, everyone's on the same page now. He's a bum who's afraid of the basket. It's disappointing because we're made out to be the bad people when we're asking a professional athlete to shoot a basketball, to grow as a player. And this is the response that we're getting from him, which is very childish, but it's disappointing because his ceiling is so high and we wouldn't react this way for a TJ McConnell or an Ish Smith. All right,
No.
we're reacting this way because, Ben, you're damn good.
What a processor.
Yeah, I know. But here we are today.
So my whole thing with the Ben situation is I was one of those, let's be patient. He's going to shoot eventually. Let's be patient.
I thought that originally.
I was pretty much a Ben apologist up until I think this year, just because defensively, I just thought if he could get it, defensively, his stats are out of control. And I don't know what happened to him that is going on in his brain that he cannot. I think it's a reluctance, but at this point, I think it's like a psychological block that's probably deeper and requires therapy. And I've said this before. I said it on the Lipstick League. I said it on when I was on with Mike Mixonelli. Somebody needs to sit down and maybe hypnosis or something. And it's like, let's get into the psyche and let's figure out why you won't shoot the ball. Why you won't, because I don't even think it's a conscious choice at this point. I think it's his reaction. Once he gets that ball, he's looking for somebody because he's like, I won't shoot it. My body will not let me shoot the ball. And I think about, remember Markelle Fultz, what did he have? The
TS something,
the
or
transcranial nerve syndrome. I'm like, why do people come to Philadelphia and then end up with these like made up non-physical injuries? I'm like, is it the city? Is it the fan base? Is it the smell of cheese was in the air? I don't know. But the Ben thing, I call it, and I tweeted it out and people were like, no, it's not it. I said, it's the biggest tragedy, in my opinion. Now, sports tragedy, I mean, I'll get there. Hold on. So I said, it's the biggest sports tragedy in Philadelphia sports history. I'm not talking about Helly Lindbergh. That was its own sort of tragedy.
Yeah, you're talking in the sport, in the actual
in the
game
actual
itself.
realm of sports. And people were saying Carson Wentz, but I said we got to see Carson's full potential in 2017. It's not like he was an absolute failure. He ended up being a bust here, but he wasn't an absolute failure here. I think Ben was probably one of the biggest disappointments and a tragedy in Philadelphia sports history. And it's because nobody actually knows why. Right. There's no real rhyme or reason to any of it, except for the fact that he's a basketball player who won't shoot a basketball in the NBA in 2021. You hear all these things about him, that he's comfortable with the money and the fame. And I also think that, when you're young and you're a prodigy and you're crowned the prince before you've even really played, you're not used to facing, I think, some adversity or maybe the type of pressure that he was under here. But it's so ugly. And I thought that the Babs Botini, Brian Colangelo collar situation was going to be the ugliest thing in Sixers history, because that was just that I lived for that. I mean, that was insane.
Yeah.
But
it was.
This might be worse. And I'm like the Hickey manifesto, then the Babs Botini, then you got this. And I'm just like, wow, where do we go from here, Sixers? But just personally, Sixers are my favorite organization in the city. I feel like they adjust according to the needs of the team. And I think this new ownership group has done a really good job with that. And I'm glad that Daryl Morey's here now to kind of step in. And he's like, I'm not doing this Ben thing anymore. That's what it seems like. He's really taking the reins with the Ben Simmons situation, because you heard Joel when he just came out and he said, well, we did everything for him. Jimmy Butler should still be here, and he's not here because Ben didn't want him here. So it's time that something needed to change. And I'm still a little in shock, and it makes me sad. I'm in like a glass case of emotion because of it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely disappointing that we're here. What could have been.
what could have been, and like you said, his ceiling was so high. So it's just like, why? It's like there's 7 wonders
I
in
don't
the
want to
world,
get
and the 8th is
into.
Ben's shot. It's why. There's
Yeah.
Stonehenge,
No, I know.
the pyramids, Ben Simmons shooting the basketball.
I don't want to get into, like, because you said, like, he was grown up this way, the prince, this and that. And I don't want to get into how he's handled as a family and all. But, like, it's clear that he was told. By the way, do you hear my dog's going to town? Because it's okay. I got a new puppy. She's 10 weeks. And we have a 5-year-old dog. And these two are just going at it. And I'm ready to, like, I don't know. They're intense. But anyway, I'm losing sleep at night because this dog is insane. But where was I? Oh, yes, family. Yeah. I mean, I can't tell them how to raise their children, but don't you think that, like, if I was making the wrong decision, if I wasn't showing up to training camp, my mother and father and my fiance and my loved ones would be like, all right, bros, look, I know you're unhappy, but go to work and show that you care, put in the work, and then maybe you can get a trade that way. Like, do it the right way. There's ways to do it. And I just feel like his entire team and supporting cat, or here's the spin on it. Clutch Sports is thinking, holy shit, we have a rotten one and we got to save face here. We don't like anything that's going on right now, but, you know, we got to make it seem like we're on the same page. But they're thinking internally, Clutch Sports, LeBron, dude, Ben Simmons is brutal and this is bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like they're doubling down, and because every day it's a new excuse, right? It's the fans, and then it was Joel, and then it's Doc throwing them under the bus, and it's just like, okay, what's that saying? When you point the finger at everybody else, you have 3 pointing back at you. That's what I think of now. It's like, how many more excuses can you come up with? It's almost like just let it go. Like you gotta, and now it's a pride thing and it's an ego thing, right? It's he's not showing up. He's not showing up to the games, and the Sixers aren't giving in. And you know who I feel for in all of this? Honestly, I feel for the rest of the team. And when that report came out, I was so pissed off. I guess it was last week or 2 weeks ago, and it's, oh, he's not answering his teammates' phone calls and everybody's calling him. And I'm like, you know what? Why does the rest of the team have to call him? Stop calling him. He doesn't want to be here. Let these other men who worked their entire careers to get to the NBA, who want to be here in Philadelphia, who want to play the game, let them focus on their game. I don't understand why they have to pick up the phone and call Ben. No, like let the front office and Ben's team figure this out. And let everybody else sit out of it. Like, it's not fair to them, right? Like, Joel is the pride and joy of this city, of the Sixers, and he's on the phone. Ben, can you come back? Like, no, Joe, you got a kid, you got priorities, you got a team, you have a season in front of you.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like calling an ex. Are you gonna pick up the phone and call your ex and beg for them to come back? You better have more pride than that.
Damn right. You know? Damn right. No, I'm with you. I feel like you're talking to your 15-year-old self right now.
I am talking to my 15-year-old self.
Yeah, except it was the sidekick, or it was like the razor.
I flipped open my sidekick, and no, you know what? I did it on my Nokia after I got done my game of Snake. And I had to, and I had to press the button 3 times to type 1 letter. And I sent a text message.
Time out. You didn't use T9. You didn't use Word.
I mean, I got to Word, but I mean, am I aging myself by saying that I use T9?
No, I use T9. You were in the same age bracket here. I mean, I heard kids on TikTok the other day reference the late 1990s. I was born in 95. I'm going, you're making me sick right now.
Wait, they said the late 1990s?
Yes, we are late 1990s. That's how we are referenced, you know. And
I'm late 1980s. So that
that was a huge, whoa, what? What are these kids saying these days as they have their hair all over, you know, that look they have now? I'm like, oh, no, I'm old.
Mullets, for some reason, the mullets are coming back. I'm like, God bless you.
First off, I'm not anti-mullet. I never did the mullet, just not for me.
And you just have like a long, what is that? That's just like shoulder length? It's just a fro?
Just flow.
Okay.
Yeah, well, but the nickname back in the day when I was in my hockey prime was Flosy O'Donnell, like Rosie O'Donnell. I just got hit with Flosy. So I'll be like, yo, Flosy, but what's happening? You know what I mean? Kind of like that. But yeah, I don't know how the hell that just came up.
Rosie O'Donnell.
I did not think Rosie O'Donnell would make a reference on today's episode of
Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah, whatever. I like it. I like it. All right, well, our last one here as we wrap things up. Another sad conversation. The Phillies making this. I'm a baseball head. Like, you should have seen my adrenaline rush last night to watch Yankees Red Sox. I treated that all day as if it was Phillies. Like, that's how stoked I was to see the atmosphere, like watch every pitch. I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sad, though. I'm sad. They're far away, too. Don't give me this they're close nonsense. Dave
No.
Dombrowski, he's got to make some moves.
I'm also one of those people who feel, when you feel that momentum picking up, and when was that? Like mid-August. I'm like, oh, they could actually do it. They can make it to the playoffs this year. Perhaps this year's the year. Red October, dreams of grandeur. And then, reality smacks you right in the face and you're like, oh, wait, we're still suffering from the choices made in 2011 and 2012. And because we don't have a farm system and we don't know how to scout for pitchers, and it's just like a hot mess. And are we going to squander Bryce Harper? And is it just, are the best of his years going to be behind us and we'll have paid him so much money for no reason?
It does feel that way.
Well,
I guess
10 years is a long ass time.
Now, I'm scared because I love Bryce. Everyone loves Bryce. But he made a statement the other day. And it's I didn't want to sign JT, not because he's great or not great. It's just you don't put that much money in that position. It's like the running back. If the Eagles told me we're going to spend X amount of dollars on Miles Sanders, look at Barkley, look at Zeke. You don't do that. So with the catcher, you just don't do that. And Bryce was very demanding.
It's the knees. Catcher's knees and running back knees.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
But now Bryce is saying we can't be spending money all around and just buy people, but you were the one who demanded this team to buy JT Realmuto. So I love Bryce. I'm not ripping the guy. Yeah. He's amazing. But I'm just saying that kind of stuff that's part of the process here on why you're kind of set back, because you spent all that cash on JT when you have so many other holes to fill. So that's part of the issue, in my opinion.
Well,
along with Matt Klentak, it was bigger problem.
Bigger problem. And, I think that the Phillies, a lot of it. So I think what happened was, they failed to get rid of those 08 guys in an appropriate amount of time. They never really developed their farm system in any way, shape, or form. I think that if it were up to me, they tried to do a total overhaul, right? And they bring in Klentak and they bring in Kapler, and that they're trying to do that like analytical based model, but it's like, we're not there yet, right? The Phillies aren't there yet because outside of Klentak and Kapler, all the decision makers are these old school baseball guys. So that creates kind of a disconnect within the organization and a disconnect on how things should be managed, and a disconnect on making, decisions on the diamond. So it's one of those things that I think that they're in such a lost place because they're like this. They're like, we'll get a superstar, but then we need a pitcher. And then we need to figure out what to do in the outfield because we're going to re-sign Odubel, and that's going to be a mess. And, it's just like one of those things where they're throwing a bunch of shit against the wall and hoping that it sticks, and nothing's sticking. So it's like, they need to just peel back and I think prioritize based on the immediate needs, right? And it's one of those things where, since you don't have a farm system, I come from the school of I like a win now mentality. I don't necessarily love the thought of a rebuild. I understood it for the Sixers, right? I mean, I understood the process. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but I think in football and baseball, a rebuild just sounds really horrible because it takes so long to get good when you're those teams. Basketball is so different. Like you can develop a chemistry and a flow, and because the game's so fast, right? Baseball is such a slow game that you can't just, that just doesn't come together overnight. And I think that they don't even know where to begin. That's where I think that they're all sitting there like,
yeah. Middleton, no. I'm hoping that Dombrowski, who's a smart baseball mind, kind of pushes the right buttons at this point.
We'll see again. But it's like, I feel like we just hit the reset button again at the beginning of last season. And it's like, okay, year 1 again, but it's actually year 11 for all of us.
I'm laughing in pain, Nat. I really am. But look, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to talk some sports, to kick back, and we should do it again sometime.
For sure. Thank you, Flozy O'Donnell.
Oh, come on. You had to hit me with that. I want to thank everybody so much for listening to this episode of Schmoozed, and I will see you next time.